It was the penultimate SmackDown before WrestleMania. We didn't have The Rock, we didn't have Roman Reigns, we didn't have the Bloodline, we didn't have Cody Rhodes. But out of who we did have, who stepped up the most? Who was the one that brought in the ratings? Well, we're going to look at that here with the quarter hour ratings breakdown. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. This was the lowest overall rated SmackDown of 2024, the lowest since the 29th of December. Some people are saying it's because it was the holiday, but in reality, I think it's because there wasn't much on the show. Looking at the preview for the show, I wasn't expecting much. There wasn't any big names, and I can't believe that they would do this, to be honest. I mean, you factor in it as a holiday, you'd think that they would try and counteract that by putting on some of the bigger names, but then you also factor in we're less than 2 weeks. At this point, we were about 9 days away from WrestleMania, so you'd think, and it's the penultimate show. So you're expecting them to put on some big stuff. You're expecting them to showcase the main event angles, and for some reason it just didn't happen. This SmackDown was literally full of, let's be honest, jobber tag teams and throwaway factions that don't mean anything. And then of course we got the women sprinkled in there as well. Now, what I would say about the overall rating is, and the quarterly hour ratings, is that there wasn't actually many low points. It was pretty damn consistent, something that AEW certainly cannot do with Dynamite. You look at Dynamite, starts off strong, gets a little bit of help getting from the Big Bang Theory, but then it's just losing fewer after fewer after fewer. With SmackDown, I mean, it's not like that. And SmackDown actually, from start to finish, gains viewers overall. Yeah, they might dip a little bit after the first hour, but more often than not, SmackDown's ratings are actually going up by the end of the show, but a lot more consistent than what we see possibly for other shows. Does it factor in the fact that SmackDown is like an A show and it's a 2-hour show, unlike Raw, where you kind of see a dip, to be honest, in the final hour as well? Who knows? But anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to go through the quarters. First quarter, 8 o'clock to 8:15, we had Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus Pretty Deadly. So this basically opened the show, and it came in at a 2.083 million. So SmackDown kicking off just above the 2 million mark there. Not a great rating. I believe 2 weeks ago when The Rock kicked off, they did 2.4. So, yeah, a little bit down, but I don't think it's a good idea to kick off with a match. I've never thought it's a good idea to kick off with a match, let alone a throwaway match. And that's what this is. You know, it's not a great match. It's not. Pretty Deadly aren't going to win. They're not being built up as proper stars or legit challengers. There's nothing on the line here. There is no stakes. It's the definition of a throwaway match. I mean, if you want to kick off with like a title match or a number one contender match, some form of battle royal, gauntlet, I mean, maybe that's one thing, or a ladder match or something, I don't know. Speciality match, maybe yes, or a match with a rivalry that means something, yes, but this match, for me, no. Anyway, quarter two, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. We get the continuation of the tag team match. We get a post-match with Logan Paul, and we get Io Sky and Bayley with their little backstage angle and a Nick Aldis promo. This went up 4%, so this did 2.161 million. So we're going a little bit up. Probably going to have to assume that it's because maybe Logan Paul was on. Did he bring in that little bit of extra viewership? Io Sky and Bayley had a promo as well, but I can't really imagine that did much. This did actually have like Logan Paul running away from Randy Orton, and he did chase him to the back, and he got in the car and drove off, which, I mean, that was pretty cool, seeing a different location, I guess, different really aspect of wrestling. Instead of just two guys fighting in the ring or fighting outside the ring, we actually seen Randy give chase to Logan Paul, who made a getaway by hijacking someone's car. So yeah, this went up a little bit. We then move into the third quarter, and it went up again by 2% this time. This got 2.194 million, and it was Jade Cargill's live promo. So basically, it was her coming to SmackDown as an official SmackDown person. She signed the contract, and that was it, really. So after that, we had Alba Fire backstage. We had Isla Dawn, AJ Styles backstage. We had Bobby Lashley, B-Fab, and the Street Profits backstage. And then we went into the start of the Fury and Grayson Waller versus Street Profits match. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, 2.194 million. Then we move into quarter 4. This one went up 2% again. So far, you know, we went up 4%, 2%, 2%. Very consistent from SmackDown. Anyway, quarter 4 did 2.38 million. Oh, no, sorry, 2.238 million. This had the continuation of Fury and Waller versus Street Profits. Post-match beatdown with the Final Testament. And then we got a Santos Escobar live promo. So, kicking off, ending hour 1, should I say, at 2.238. Going into the second hour, quarter 5, we went up another 2%. So, this quarter 5, 9 o'clock to 9:15, did 2.274 million. And this obviously features Escobar, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee coming out, LWO, Legado del Fantasma, all that stuff. We had Naomi and Bianca Belair backstage, Judgment Day backstage, and then we went into a New Catch Republic versus Legado match. And obviously, people don't want to see this. Next quarter, we drop. Yes, we drop 5%. We go from 2.274 million to 2.156 million. So we dropped about, 120,000 here. I'm not surprised. Does anybody want to tune around for New Catch Republic versus Legado del Fantasma? Not me. Not me. I like if you told me to look at these segments and ask me which one had the 5% drop off, you would just look at this segment and you would know. I mean, you would just know. Anyway, that was that. We also got the ending of that match. We got a Raw recap. And people did want to see the Raw recap, so it's the highest feud video that SmackDown uploaded. Had Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa backstage. So what this tells me is that I do believe that a lot of people have tuned out for the New Catch Republic and Legado del Fantasma match, and they possibly missed out on some of the things that happened after it, because, yeah, I reckon that a lot more people probably tuned out, but maybe some people tuned in before the quarter finished, and that's why it's only down 5%, but those two are ratings killers. That's a rating killer match, there's no doubt about it. Quarter 7. 9:30 to 9:45, AJ Styles cuts a live promo. We got LA Knight dressed as security attacking AJ Styles, and then we got a video of Tiffany Stratton looking all hot and sexy, and this went up 4%. 4%, guys. There you go. Tiffany Stratton, she gets the cleavage out, and then all of a sudden we go up to 2.234 million. So I think this is the key. This is probably it. This is how you get an audience, keep an audience. Just get Tiffany Stratton and a bikini man, and it'll save the ratings. So yeah, 2.234 million after quarter 7, and then we move in to the final quarter, the 8th quarter, 9:45 to 10 p.m. It was Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair with the post-match beatdown, and then obviously the save from Jade Cargill, and this went up 1% and ended the show with a 2.265 million, and this was only 9,000 off the highest rated segment of the show, which was obviously quarter 5. So there you go. I mean, SmackDown, it peaked at the start of the second hour, and the ending of the show. So pretty consistent, not really that much low stuff on the show, to be honest. It was only really the New Catch Republic match with Legado del Fantasma that lost quarters. I mean, that lost viewership 5%, and then in the demographic it also lost 5%. So yeah, I mean, the start wasn't great, but I think that's because there was a cold open, and then obviously quarter 6 with the New Catch Republic and Legado del Fantasma, I didn't exactly do great either. Other than that though, pretty consistent, and everything did go up little by little, so that's a good sign. I mean, that's what you want. When you start your show, obviously you want to start your show as high as possible, but it's always good when the ratings and stuff gradually go up. unlike AEW Dynamite, when everything just drastically goes down. So, yeah, decent for SmackDown, especially considering that there was no big names on the show, really, and it was pretty lackluster in terms of main event angles. But who knows? One more SmackDown to go before WrestleMania. Hopefully we get all the big names on that. And who I think we could possibly see, if they go all out, if they put The Rock on, if they put Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, if they get Seth and Drew, if they get an appearance for CM Punk, I think they could definitely break 2.5 million in the last, the final show before WrestleMania. I think that could happen, but normally, I think in recent years, the final SmackDown before WrestleMania has absolutely sucked, because normally they just use it now to lead into the Hall of Fame, and it's not like back in the day when you were guaranteed a great show going into the pay-per-view. Always, the pay-per-view go-home shows were always great, but not so much these days. Anyway, that's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Been Fog Wrestling. Thanks for watching, and peace.